Ini tentunya kita semua memiliki sebuah pertanyaan yang sama ya.
Apa tuh?
Gimana kok kamu yang awalnya mahasiswa kedokteran di UNER, yang tentunya ya masuk sini kan pasti banyak banget perjuangan yang berdarah-darah dan tiba-tiba kamu banting setir pindah ke jurusan lain, jurusan hubungan internasional lagi yang berbau sosial, yang dimana pasti 180 derajat daripada di FK ini ya.
Ya, perihal banting setir gitu, I guess you could call me a bad driver.
Oke. Kring-kring, this is Lingua Talk speaking. Hai Linguis.
Konnichiwa.
Wih, konnichiwa nih. Oke. Oke, baiklah. Perkenalkan teman-teman, di sini aku host kalian. Aku Matias dari angkatan 2023. Dan tentunya di sini aku ditemani oleh tamu yang sangat spesial ya. Udah jauh-jauh datang ke Indonesia. Dari mana tuh, Bang?
Dari Jepang.
Wah, dari Jepang. Oke. Kalau gitu aku minta perkenalan pakai nama Jepang, boleh nggak?
Nama Jepang. Oh,
Ya,
pakai bahasa Jepang.
ya pakai bahasa Jepang.
Ya, hajimemashite. Boku no namae wa Adriel desu. Ima wa APU no daigakusei desu. 2年生です. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu.
Yoroshiku onegaishimasu, Bang. Apa tuh artinya, Bang? Aku nggak tahu Jepang sama.
So it was basically, hi, my name is Adriel. I'm a university student from APU, and I'm a second year student right now.
Oke, teman-teman. Jadi di sini kita ditemani oleh tamu dari Jepang. Nama dia adalah Adriel. Mungkin buat fun fact buat teman-teman sendiri teman-teman linguis di sini, Adriel ini dulunya adalah mahasiswa kedokteran di FK UNER yang sama. Yang dimana dia tuh sama seangkatan sama aku juga, angkatan 23, dan dulu dia di kelas yang sama-sama aku bahkan. Ya, so basically bahkan dulu waktu awal-awal FK, basically beliau satu ini one of my first friend juga, yang dimana ya sekarang kita juga masih sering kontak lah. Dan hey, dia sekarang di Surabaya. Hey, it's nice to meet you again, bro.
It's nice to meet you again.
Yeah, I miss you a lot.
I miss you too, aman aja.
Oke, Adriel, mungkin buat teman-teman linguis di sini, mungkin mau tahu juga buat kamu di Jepang itu pertama kuliahnya di mana, terus kedua jurusannya apa?
Yeah, so right now aku ini university-nya di APU atau kerap namain sebagai Ritsumeikan Asia Pacific University. It's located in a small city in Japan called Beppu. It's about like 3 hours away from Fukuoka. And my faculty right now is in the Asia Pacific Studies faculty, and I'm taking international relations.
Oke, jadi teman kita Adriel di sini, dia sekarang ada di jurusan hubungan internasional dari APU. Alright, Adriel. Di sini tentunya kita semua memiliki sebuah pertanyaan yang sama ya.
Apa tuh?
Gimana kok kamu yang awalnya mahasiswa kedokteran di UNER, yang tentunya ya masuk sini kan pasti banyak banget perjuangan yang berdarah-darah, dan tiba-tiba kamu banting setir pindah ke jurusan lain, jurusan hubungan internasional lagi, yang berbau sosial, yang dimana pasti 180 derajat daripada di FK ini ya.
Ya, perihal banting setir gitu, I guess you could call me a bad driver.
Okay.
No, but no, in all seriousness though, like I had several reasons, but some of those reasons I would rather keep to myself. But like the main reason that I would tell people is that one, I couldn't keep up with the what's it called?
Pelajaran.
The lessons here. Yeah, I couldn't keep up with the pelajaran lah. Aku gak bisa ngikutin kayak let's take you for example, right? I see you and I see the other friends of mine yang di sini itu kayak rajin belajar and stuff like that, and like they're actually interested in stuff. Like at first I was interested, but then when I got into the lessons and all that stuff, I began to lose interest, and I decided like daripada aku ngancurin diri sendiri juga, like staying here and losing my focus gitu, I would rather like go into something that I know that I have like 100% interest in, which is politics, history, and so on. Gitu.
Oke. Jadi di sini kamu ngerasa kayak FK is not really your calling dan emang nggak passion juga ya di sini.
Yeah. So like when it comes to like my calling and stuff like that, the reason why I stopped seeing FK as my calling gitu is because ada sebuah pepatah nih dari
Oke.
kalau naik kereta yang salah, mending langsung stop di stasiun berikutnya daripada
Oke.
terlanjur kebablasan.
Oh iya. Aku pernah dengar.
Dengar dari siapa tuh?
Dari kamu sih. Oke. Oke, jadi daripada ya waktu dulu ya teman kita Adriel ini ya teman-teman, itu dia pindahnya tuh waktu akhir-akhir semester 2. Yang dimana ya bener kata dia sih, yang dimana kalau misalkan mau ganti jurusan sebaiknya emang jangan di semester akhir-akhir, karena jujur kalian sudah all in too deep. Ya mirip kayak main poker gitu lah. Kalau kalian sudah all in ya mau gimana lagi lah ya.
Because like apa ya ibaratnya, like you keep on raising it and then in the end you just finally call it, or not you just go all in, right?
Ya mending kalau kartunya jelek langsung fold aja
Fold
dia.
aja.
Ya langsung ganti. Ya setuju. Nah tentunya ya Adriel di sini mungkin bisa jelaskan bagaimana perjuanganmu untuk ganti jurusan juga, karena jujur aja Adriel. Kalau mau dibilang dari diriku sendiri itu sebenarnya aku juga mirip kamu, yang dimana waktu awal-awal masuk FK itu aku belum ngerasa FK ini ya my calling lah, belum juga passionku. Dan aku yakin juga teman-teman linguis di sini nggak sepenuhnya teman-teman semuanya tuh masuk ke FK ya karena murni keinginan diri sendiri. Pasti ada juga teman-teman ya yang masuk FK karena ya faktor yang paling sering lah ya itu karena dorongan orang tua. Dan sebenarnya aku sama juga di sini karena utamanya dorongan orang tua. Dan ya mengenal kamu juga lah. Sebenarnya alasan kita ini kan juga mirip ya karena dorongan orang tua. Dan fun fact ini teman-teman. Ya nanti lihat aja lah, mungkin ada kredit skornya itu lihat nama belakangnya dia. Nanti kalian lihat nama belakangnya dia, kalian cari dokter dengan nama belakang tersebut.
Ada berapa tuh keturunan tuh?
Banyak banget. Kalian pasti terpukau. Iya. Mungkin kalau mau di-spill sedikit dokter-dokter tersebut, bahkan ya sampai prof juga sih.
Sampai prof juga
sih. Kalau spill-spillnya ada kaitannya sama ya with the mind, dengan
ada sedikit brain powernya gitu.
Ya, sedikit brain powernya.
Ada kayak apa ya ibaratnya?
Ya
neuro psikiatri gitu kan ya. Something like that ya.
Gitulah. Ini nanti cari sendiri lah. Bahkan ada bukunya loh teman-teman.
It's like some KJ-nya gitu.
Iya, itu kakeknya dia tuh punya buku. Ya gitulah ya.
Tulis sama siapa gitu ya?
Ya sama kakekmu kan?
Sama bokap gitu sih, lupa gue.
Nah aku nggak kan kamu ya keturunan Ya udah gitulah intinya ya teman-teman. Ya jujur menurutku Adriel ini pressure dari keluarganya tuh jauh lebih tinggi daripada aku dulu pada masa itu lah ya. Jujur orang tuaku nggak yang gimana gitu. Nah melihat kamu dengan backgroundmu yang seperti itu, kamu kalau tak lihat berani bilang ke apa ya? Kamu tuh sangat berani sih. Kamu mengambil keputusan yang dimana muter balik 180 derajat dan juga kamu bisa meyakinkan orang tuamu kalau emang ya kamu ya maunya pindah gitu. Karena jujur kalau dari hatiku atau mungkin buat teman-teman linguis yang juga relate itu kadang nggak kesampaian gitu loh, nggak berani buat bilang. Nah, gimana caranya kok kamu bisa melakukan hal tersebut?
So like, of course, before I did the things I did, I did some risk assessments. First, like I thought about like, if I were to continue on with medicine, what will happen to me in the long run? And then I thought about like, what if I changed majors like early on? What will happen if I change majors in the middle of it? What will happen as well, right? So like I thought about all of that and I've decided that the best course of action for me is to take the risk of changing it in the early parts of the semester kan. Jadi kayak I made that decision around the end of the first semester. And I finally applied to all of these stuff at the beginning. If I recall right, I was applying for all of this stuff at the beginning of the second semester, yeah. and then I got accepted in the middle of the second semester. That's why you saw me in the last second semester UAB.
Iya sih.
I was just goofing around.
Ya dia buat teman-teman yang mungkin mau tahu, kalau nggak salah UAB Faal itu dia nggak datang di yang UAB 2 Faal yang terakhir kalau nggak
I was
salah.
gone, bro.
Iya, udah hilang dia.
But not like I would say, right? Like after assessing all of those risks, confronting my parents was the worst part of that whole journey.
Iya sih, itu pasti sih.
Confronting my parents itu jujur paling susah itu.
Iya, itu jelas itu.
Soalnya kayak udah like, because of course I have to think about mereka udah ngeluarin duit seberapa banyak buat
Iya.
aku, itu udah apa namanya, aku preparation buat masuk ke FK-nya seberapa banyak gitu, udah dibantuin sama ortu juga, dibantuin dalam kayak inten, terus tuh kayak les-les lain-lainnya, buku-buku dan lain-lain gitu.
Benar.
Aku tahu lah harga buku FK itu harganya gimana
Iya sih, itu udah gila bang.
itulah. Sampai ini di kamar aku aja ini masih ada buku-buku FK, terus tumpukan-tumpukan gitu masih ada. Gak bisa dibuang, emang masih precious sih. Tapi ya gitu. Tapi ya apa ya ibaratnya kayak when I was preparing to confront my parents regarding about my situation at that time, I thought about it a lot to the point where I had to list down all of the reasons into a Google Docs.
Google Docs, oke.
Ya, Oke, jadi ini ada di dalam komputer gue itu, ada satu file Google Docs. Kalau lu udah di drive gue itu ada kayak satu file Google Docs yang isinya 2 pages of the reasons why aku pikir sebaiknya aku pindah dari FK ke HI.
Buset dah, 2 halaman.
2 halaman itu.
Itu alasan kenapa kamu harus pindah ke HI tadi.
Ada alasannya, ada juga permohonannya.
Oke. Itu kamu nggak sekalian nyiapin PPT ke orang tuamu? Why?
Sih, tapi enggak. Ujung-ujungnya aku kirimin kan ke ortu. Aku wis ngasih agak dramatis dikit gitu, kasih title-nya ultimatum atau gitu. Lupa gua apa gitu. And it was over dramatic to the point gitu lah. Tapi kayak I called my parents and they came to Surabaya to so that we can have like a face-to-face talk. And then in the end we did some compromise gitu. I did the test and they did tell me, right, like I have to get a certain amount of the scholarship so that I can actually move to Japan comfortably gitu. And luckily I did get that scholarship, but I still had to make some compromises with my family. And yeah, in the end I was able to convince them that I am able to proceed on with my life in a different country, in a different major. And yeah, they believe that I can be successful in that new major that I chose. Gitu sih.
Oh, that's nice. Wow, gila sih. Jujur kamu gila sih.
Yeah, the pressure at that time was really crazy.
Yeah, I can't imagine, bro. Oke, mungkin kalau ya tadi ya, berarti kamu ngerasa callingmu ini emang di hubungan internasional Jepang.
Yeah.
Kalau aku boleh tahu juga nih ya, buat di HI, berarti nanti kira-kira pas kamu sudah lulus, itu kamu bakal ngapain? What are you gonna do? Mungkin kayak lebih tepatnya the job ya, kerjaannya apa nanti?
So right now, I'm still in my second year, so like I still have a few years to think about this. Well, not a few years. I have to think about it pretty soon, actually. But so far, right now, I'm thinking of applying to jobs, either outside the country or in Japan.
Okay.
So I have to prepare a few things. For example, like JLPT.
Oh iya, JLPT.
Yeah, I have to prepare for like JLPT. I have to prepare like work permits and like stuff like that. But that's like matters for later. But primarily, I'm still studying my Japanese. But if I were to like work outside, I would need to like grow my CV, do more activities, get good grades, of course. And like either that, like working in a company outside or in Japan. Another option would be to try to become a diplomat, to use, of course, that's like the high school ingin masuk HI dream, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, the big dream.
like anak-anak yang mau masuk HI gitu, aku pengen jadi diplomat, aku pengen jadi duta besar gitu. Ya. Kayak apa ya, but like doing that I have to do a lot of stuff inside Indonesia first, which I would prefer not to do because
Ya,
Yeah,
because this is
because-
Indonesia.
yeah,
Oke,
Yeah.
masuk akal.
I would not go on with what I'm about to say.
Oke, wait, sebentar. Sebelum lanjut lagi, tadi kan kamu sempat nyebut JLPT.
Mm-hmm.
Tapi bukannya kayak kalau misalkan kamu mau kuliah di Jepang gitu kan, kamu harus punya sertifikasi bahasanya dulu nggak sih?
So here's the thing, right? There are few Japanese universities that do not require the JLPT.
Oh,
For example, when you enroll in a university that has English basis courses, for example, like my university,
oke.
the Ritsumeikan University in
Okay.
Kyoto, those universities do not require JLPT, but they do require a minimum for your IELTS.
Oh, minta minimum IELTS ya, bukan
Yeah.
minimum JLPT.
But if you go into a university that primarily teaches in Japanese, they will ask you for your JLPT. Mainly, most of the time, they would ask for JLPT 2 or JLPT 1.
Oh,
Yeah, that's why you can see like most university students who aspire to go to Japan. Some of them would go to language schools in Japan to further enhance their Japanese while living there, to get used with living standards over there, and also like just learn Japanese and grow your Japanese basically. Yeah,
oke.
that's what my cousin did. So like
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oke, mungkin kalau dari rating 1 sampai 10, kira-kira bahasa Jepangmu sudah se-fluent apa?
Aduh.
Udah lama lo di Jepang, masa kamu belum?
1.5 years, gang. I can't speak that well yet.
It's already, bukan only.
Okay, fine. It's already been 1.5 years, but like, I would say my Japanese right now is still like survival Japanese. Like, it's still,
Survivable.
it's like, I can speak it to an extent.
Oke.
Like, I would say, I would give it like from 1 to 10, I'd give it like a 6, 7. I'm kidding. Like a 6 or a 5, I'd say.
5 atau 6?
Yeah.
Itu
Because like I know some of my
sangat-
friends who like throughout those 1.5 years have grown their Japanese much better than mine's. Like they learned Japanese so much faster than me.
Oh my god.
Like me right now, I'm still trying to like learn for the JLPT test, like the N3 test. The problem with that, right? Like kanji and grammar, all of that stuff is incredibly hard. But some of my friends, I salute to them because those guys are able to memorize kanji fast, like the onyomi and konyomi, and also like the what's it called, the different readings of the kanji, and also the the various types of grammars there are. So yeah, like I really respect my friends who are able to like grow their Japanese that fast within that 1.5 years. Yeah.
I see. Kalau jujur aja, kalau misalkan experience-ku belajar Jepang juga, aku ngerasa kayak, iya sih, aku ngeliat kanji itu kayak advance banget. Yang dimana bahkan simpelnya aja, aku kayak hiragana, katakana aja, walaupun sempat belajar, itu jujur aku masih kurang bisa nge-grasp. Tapi kamu udah katam lah ya harusnya.
Ya, hiragana katakana itu masih masih mending lah. Itu soalnya kan masih kayak ibaratnya the standard alphabet.
Iya
ya,
sih,
gitu.
ABCD-nya.
ABCD-nya. Iya.
Ya, gitulah. Oke, kalau gitu back ke yang tadi. HI, kamu mau jadi diplomat. Diplomat mana? Diplomat Indo? Apa gimana tuh maksudnya?
Ya, diplomat ya wis dari Indo dong. Like
Iya
you can't
sih.
be a diplomat from another country. Like you have to be a diplomat that represents Indonesia because you are an Indonesian citizen.
Jadi kamu mau jadi diplomat Indonesia?
Ya.
Oke. Tapi ada kepikiran lagi nggak selain sebagai diplomat? Atau mungkin buat teman-teman yang ngambil HI di sana itu nanti selain jadi diplomat, apakah ada pathway lain yang bisa mereka ambil?
Yeah, there are a few other like pathways. For example, like working in certain organizations, certain like other forms of work. Like for example, it doesn't have, because like in my eyes and throughout the experiences of my what's senpais in English or in
Kakak
English?
kelas.
Kakak kelas, ya, there you go. Kakak tingkat. Yeah, from the experiences of my kakak tingkat gitu itu semua kayak mereka ngambil HI, tapi ujung-ujungnya itu kayak they didn't end up being diplomats, but they did get jobs because like in my eyes, from their experiences, international relations is like a very flexible.
Fleksibel
It's a
gitu.
very flexible major, right? Like you can go into various forms of work because like the background of international relations is like we're learning a bunch of different like fields like politics, culture, and also like economy and all that stuff. So like you can work in various different departments basically.
Iya, iya, iya.
Yeah.
Jujur, ya I can see you like that sih. Karena kalau buat kamu kan dulu bahkan waktu semasa di FK semester 1 2 kamu tuh aktif banget organisasi, sumpah.
Masa sih? Masa sih?
Iya, kamu tuh hampir aku lihat di mana-mana gitu loh. Kayak ya Cimsa, AMSA aktif, terus di mana lagi ya? Ya mayoritas eksternal sih jujur. Kamu kayak hampir di mana-mana.
Cuma Cimsa AMSA gak sih?
Ya tapi kamu masuk salah satu aktivis, men.
Ya.
Ya
Oke.
gitulah.
Gitu.
Oke, mungkin kalau misalkan aku boleh tahu juga nih,
Apa?
mungkin buat teman-teman, walaupun Adriel nampaknya seperti ini ya, dia tuh masih beragama Muslim hitungannya guys, teman-teman. Yang dimana waktu di Jepang itu kira-kira ada azan nggak, Adriel?
Kalau di Jepang sendiri itu kayak apa ya? Like as a Muslim in Japan, right? There are mosques, but like they're not allowed to like play the call of prayer that loud.
Iya.
Jadi azan gitu-gituan itu kayak bisa didengar di dalam masjidnya, tapi dari luarnya enggak.
I see. Jadi dari dalam gitu ya. Kalau dari enggak, ya di sini kan lebih keras ya sampai di luar kedengaran juga gitu. I see. Menarik. Ya pasti juga karena mayoritas di situ agamanya beda kan.
Iya.
Well, I guess kita nggak bakal terlalu dalam bicarakan sampai agama. Lanjut. Oke.
Host brother.
Iya. Oke, mungkin bisa ceritakan nggak ini pengalamanmu frugal living di Jepang tuh gimana?
Frugal living.
Frugal living.
Wow. Okay, so before this, right, like during my first and second semester, I was living in the dormitories of my university, and that costs like one room costs around 50k yen, which is about like
50k yen.
5.500.000.
5.500.000.
Ya, kurang lebih segitulah.
Tadi?
Itu kayak sepanjang enggak, itu bayar per bulan buat apa ya? Per bulan dari semester 1 semester 2.
Oh, oke.
Gitu. Terus tapi ya aku itu pas di tengah-tengahnya semester 2 udah move out ke daerah perkotaannya. Daerah perkotaannya Beppu itu aku pindah ke apartemen bareng temen saya gak tuh? Temen aku dapat apartemen yang seharganya sama kayak dormitory-nya, tapi kan bareng temen kan. Jadi bagi dua. Jadi 50.000 itu dibagi dua jadi 25.000 yen.
Oh, nice.
Which is much more affordable.
2 jutaan lah ya harusnya.
3 jutaan untuk lah ya.
Ya, hampir 3 juta.
Ya. Tapi kalau perihal kayak listrik, gas gitu, it really depends on the season. Gara-gara kayak kalau musim kemarau, like summer and winter, your electricity bill is going to be really high.
Oh,
because summer you're going to use your AC a lot. During the winter you're going to use the heater a lot. But during like spring and fall you're not going to use it that much. So I just need to like open the windows and all that. But yeah.
Okay.
And then what else about frugal living that I can tell you?
Food. Yeah, foodnya gimana foodnya?
Food is, yeah, it's pretty expensive. Soalnya kayak transisi dari bisa makan 15.000 di pinggir jalan gitu di sini, terus tiba-tiba harus bayar hampir 50.000, 60.000 rupiah gitu buat per makan gitu di Jepang itu lumayan gila sih itu.
Oke. Oh ya, berhubung kita bicarakan soal makanan nih, karena di sini sudah azan. Kita makan dikit dulu nggak sih?
Makan dikit dulu.
Iya. Ini kalau di Jepang modelan ramen gitu ya?
Ya, biasanya kalau di Jepang itu, tapi kebanyakan ya ini untuk teman-teman Muslim juga yang pada tahu itu kayak most of the cup ramens yang ada di Jepang itu jujur
Mm-mm.
halal.
Iya,
Jadi ya,
kita lihat itu. Ha.
if you wanna know kayak misalnya apa namanya kehalalan dari suatu produk,
Itu gimana?
ya lah. Apa ya, kalau mau tahu tentang kehalalan suatu produk gitu, itu ada aplikasinya sendiri where like you just scan a barcode gitu and it's gonna tell you like if it's halal or not gitu.
Oh, canggih. Jujur aku ngeliat Jepang itu basically city of tomorrow, bro. Kayak semuanya hampir almost everything is automated nggak sih? Kayak diautomasikan dan semuanya sangat futuristic jujur aja.
That's a bit of a lie right there.
Kenapa?
Because like you might think that Japan is a bit futuristic and with like good technology and stuff like that. It's true. They have good technology. They have good transportation and all that. The problem is, right? Sometimes kalau lu ke restoran gitu, they still handle mainly in cash. Like if you go to like a ramen restaurant or like apa ya, another example, izakaya gitu,
Mm-mm.
most of the times they wouldn't accept forms of cards.
Mm-mm.
They would mainly accept cash.
I see. Jadi kayak masih lebih sering cash ya di situ.
Ya.
Bahkan kalau daripada di sini menurutmu lebih sering cash di sana kan?
Sana,
Oh
jujur.
my god.
Because over there you can still pay with cash.
Mm-mm.
You can still pay with cash. But like here, I just came back from Pakuan Mall, bro. I tried to pay with cash literally in any of the stores I went to. All they accepted were cards, bro.
Iya
Cards
sih.
or QRIS.
Apalagi PM, bro.
Bro.
Iyalah.
So like I was struggling right in BM because all I had was cash.
Mm-mm.
So
Kamu
like
ngapain di PM?
Hah?
Kamu ngapain di
I was
PM?
meeting my friend, bro.
Oh, nggak ada kegiatan lain di PM.
What do you think I am?
Oke. Sekarang. Oke, cut dulu. Oh, oke, baiklah. Oke, Drill. Kan tadi kamu udah cerita the food. Jujur aja kalau dari makanan di sini sama di Jepang kamu lebih prefer mana, bro?
I like both.
Suka dua-duanya?
I like both.
Both
are good.
Both are good. Not picky eater over here, guys. Not really.
That's a lie. That's a lie.
I think nggak juga sih, aku nggak tahu sih. Kayaknya aku lebih suka makanan sini deh masih daripada makanan sana.
Nah, itu kalau perihal tentang makanan-makanan gitu yo, rasanya emang lebih enakan rasanya gini loh. Lebih apa ya? Rasanya lebih kuat lah in a sense. Because like there's no spicy food in Japan, bro. And most of the time like the spicy foods in Japan is like made for Japanese tongue, right? So like it's not that spicy. So, like every time I eat in like a restaurant yang bilangnya spicy gitu, I would tambahin cabai lagi.
Wait, bukannya seingatku kamu nggak bisa handle spice well nggak sih?
Loh, sekarang bisa.
Oh, sekarang bisa.
Sekarang bisa.
Oh, oke.
Which is crazy actually.
Ya udah abis ini kita kepenyetan abis ini.
Gak gitu juga. Kalau spicy-nya Indo belum.
Oke, siap.
Spicy agak Indo ke bawahan dikit lah. Gitu.
I see. Oke. Mungkin ya, Drill.
Apa?
Mungkin kalau selain makanan, harusnya makanan kamu kan tadi aman aja ya dua-duanya. Ada nggak yang ketika kamu sampai di Jepang tuh kamu ngerasa culture shock sama Indo?
Saya ya, bener. Makanan di mulut, bener ya. Culture shock ya? I guess the biggest culture shock for me, it wasn't more of a culture shock, more like a relief. You know how like in Indo, like even at night, you can't have quietness for at least like 5 minutes. Like you're gonna hear like klakson atau kayak suara motor ngeng gitu.
Jujur, iya, kadang-kadang.
Di Jepang gak ada gitu kan?
Oh,
So like in Japan, right? Like once it reaches like a certain point at night, like it's really quiet. And honestly, I was really happy about that because like I'm so tired of listening to like the sound of like machines and all that stuff almost every day. Especially me living in both Jakarta and like in busy parts of Surabaya, right? Like
jujur.
yeah, it was. And like another thing is that another culture shock for me was apa ya?
Kalau di sana,
I can't really think of another culture shock honestly.
kalau di sana macet nggak? Kayak semacam Jakarta nggak kira-kira?
Macetnya enggak sih.
Nggak terlalu ya?
I mean like I can't say that much for like other parts of Japan, but for my part of Japan, since I live in quite a small city, right, it's not congested. Yeah. Sometimes there are congestions. Like at one point, most of the buses. There was one day where there was like a event next to the beach, and it caused like delays to the bus schedule, and that like yeah that how do I say it? It yeah, it was really bad. It was really
Okay.
bad. Like, imagine the bus. It said like, oh, the next bus is like 5 more minutes, and then you check it again, 10 more minutes. Okay, 30 more minutes. Okay, an hour.
Damn, bro. Well, that's pretty interesting actually. Jujur
Yeah,
aku,
yeah.
I guess aku agak kurang bisa membayangkan diriku hidup di Jepang. But I guess when I go there, well, I know who to call. Wes. Ya, ya maksudnya manggil kamu.
Iya, tahu
gitu.
iya. Pergi aja ke Jepang. Ayo.
Ya, kita lihat-lihat saja nanti lah ya, gitu sih. Well, I guess itu saja dari kita, teman-teman. Ya, sayang sekali kita harus akhiri di sini terlebih dahulu. Dan mungkin buat teman-teman linguis di sini mungkin yang ya memiliki kebimbangan juga ya, mau ya kayak Adriel tadi lah, kan dia awalnya FK, tiba-tiba pindah ke HI, mungkin yang punya kebimbangan dengarkan Adriel guys. Jadi kalian harus memiliki keberanian, dan yang di sini kalian ya sedikit kebodohan ya.
Tapi juga sih untuk orang-orang yang emang punya kepikiran buat pindah, pikirin bener-bener.
Pikirin bener-bener ya, gitu ya teman-teman. Karena kan ya jujur aku yakin juga teman-teman linguis di sini ya nggak semuanya ya emang mau masuk ke sini dengan passion dari diri sendiri gitu ya. Oke, itu aja dari aku. Mungkin kalau dari kamu ada lagi yang mau disampaikan nggak ke para teman-teman linguis, Drill?
Untuk orang-orang yang punya kebimbangan mengenai kehidupan di FK, don't worry, you can do it. It like think about it, like intinya pikirin wis dalam banget gitulah. Kurang lebih kayak you gotta think thoroughly about like your journey throughout FK and all that stuff. Find activities that will
Yes.
bring joy to your life.
Yes.
Find friends who are able to lift you up.
Nice.
Study together and all that stuff. And like if you actually do wish to switch to another major, find a really good reason why. Don't just say I want to change and then just change. That's a really bad reason to.
Yes.
Like you gotta find a purpose as to why. You gotta find ways to move and all that stuff, because that's what I did. I had to like search for all that stuff in like 3 months, kurang lebih or something like that. But yeah, think about it thoroughly. Don't make rash decisions. Think about the decisions. Be a bit stupid when you take the risk, because yeah, if you think about it too smartly, you wouldn't take the risk.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Ya, aku paham.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Ya, jadi itu ya teman-teman. Ya mungkin sedikit translatean dari yang Adriel bilang. Ya, basically buat kalian yang mungkin ngerasa kalau ini belum tempat kalian, ya intinya coba di-enjoy aja lah perjalanan kalian di sini. Ya, coba cari teman-teman dan ya coba cari aktivitas yang menurut kalian fun. Kayak Adriel nih, waktu awal-awal dulu dia banyak aktif organisasi, bro, dan aktivitas sosial. Bahkan we're in a band together waktu dulu.
Oh iya.
Iya. Bro, kamu dulu.
Actually, no, I remember.
Yeah, I guess that's all from us, teman-teman. See you guys next time.